Okay, so this is module 1, and we're talking about developing product from PLR. And I do use the singular in this case, and that's not a mistake, mainly because what I'm talking about is kind of a way of doing business. So whether or not you develop one signature product or whether or not you develop several products, then this is really going to be a business model that I want to lay out to you, that if you want to start with PLR that you have, or you want to just use PLR as I suggest you use it as raw material, then this is kind of the way I think you should go about building a business. And what I want to say to you is that right now, if you don't have a niche that you're in, then I always recommend that you start with the make money online niche, even though, or what I call the information marketing niche, even though it's the most competitive, because you'll learn the most, right? You'll learn the fastest, and then when you discover whatever your niche is supposed to be, you can take all the lessons that you learned in the information marketing niche and apply them, and what you'll find is that most people don't really fully know them, and then they will not even recognize things like one-time offers and other things like that, and then you will then be in a good position. So just about everything that you need to learn in terms of how to put these things together, you're going to learn in the information marketing niche. So again, if you don't have one, like if you don't have if you're not, let's say you're not in personal development, you're not in weight loss, you're not in a particular branch of information marketing, you're still trying to figure out exactly where you want to be, then I'm going to say get started in information marketing. That's my suggestion, because again, you're going to learn the most, the fastest, and you will have to apply these lessons probably about as fast as you learn them. And typically, the feedback that you get from the information marketing niche is, even though it's brutal, and even though it is, I think, sometimes a little, I'd say a little harsh, it's the best, right? It's the best medicine for learning. Okay, so let's talk about the business model, basically, because again, what we're talking about in these, well, how do I take PLR and how do I turn it into some kind of continual business model? I want to lay this out for you tonight, and I want to talk about the Product Snowball, right? So either you heard me talk about it or you've heard the concept before. Because if you haven't started out yet, and even if, I'd say that even if you have some momentum, Product Snowball is really going to always be the best way to gain momentum and to get affiliates kind of looking at you, right? And so let's talk about it. What you want to do with a Product Snowball is you're not trying to hit a home run with your product creation. Whether or not you're taking a PLR right out of the box or you're trying to use it in some way, you're not trying to do $1 million Jeff Walker 7-figure launch. I'm not opposed to that. But what I'm saying is that before you have affiliates and partners and you have, let's say, a number of products, you want to start the process, I think, by creating short products that solve a specific problem that marketers are having, right? Again, start with short products that solve a specific problem that marketers are having. Now, if you're not in the make money online niche or information marketing niche, then you solve the problems in your niche. Right? So if you're in the personal development niche, if you're in the, let's say, the procrastination, right, that's your thing, then what's the number one problem that people who procrastinate that they're having right now? Right? What's their number one problem? Is it that they spend too much time on social media? Is it they're overwhelmed by technology? Whatever it is, create a short product and just start creating short products to address each problem. And again, if you don't have momentum yet, I'm not opposed to you launching on JVZoo. It's just that you do have to have an affiliate network. You do have to have a group of people who are willing to look at what you're doing on a regular basis and to promote you. If you don't have that, you can pick that up. You can gain that on Warrior Plus. You can develop that kind of network. And you don't have to move off Warrior Plus, to be quite honest. I know that that the JVZoo seems to be the, I guess, the network that's kind of sexier, so to speak. But Warrior Plus is a good enough network for you to use. And so if you're starting out or you don't have the momentum or you don't have the affiliate network yet, then I would say start launching these little products repeatedly on Warrior Plus. And again, I want to tell you that the point is not for you to make 1 million sales. I'd say, 5 sales, 10 sales are fine when you're launching these little short products that I'm talking about. Now, here's how you're going to use the PLR. So in other words, You want to take PLR and you want to beef up what you're trying to do. So in other words, you don't want to spend your time explaining to me the basics of, and again, I always use Facebook as an example. Don't spend your time explaining the basics of Facebook, how to create a fan page, how to open your account, all that stuff. Go buy the PLR of somebody who's already done that work, right? Go buy the PLR, and that's going to be your basic. And again, I don't really even care if you necessarily refabricate it to be yours. I don't even think it matters. I think what matters is you solve people's problems. Right, and so this is how you go and get the PLR. Now, in other words, I want you to pick up the subtlety of what I'm saying here. You're going to the marketplace in your niche, and you're figuring out what are the problems people are having. And you don't have to hit a home run. You got to have enough, I'd say, punches. You got to have enough jabs so that you can throw a right hand. Right, and so you've got to keep jabbing with your left. If you're, that is, if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you want to jab with your right hand. But you got to throw enough jabs so that your right hand is going to be potent when it comes. And so you just keep solving little problems, and you use the PLR to beef it up. Now let's see. I've got a question here from Damon. You said if you have PLR, you don't have to learn the product. You can teach them. Yeah, in some cases, I would say, Damon, that what you want to do is you want to learn enough to solve a specific problem. So you may not be an expert on creating fan pages. So you might want to go and get PLR that shows people how to create fan pages. And if that's not the specific problem that you're going to solve, then you get PLR and you use that to beef up your product. And you say inside of there, hey, I've got something in here. Make sure you go to the members area and get the product that talks about this. Right? You do need to know what's in it. You do need to know kind of what they're explaining in it, but you don't have to be the one to create all the videos. Now, if you want to, for the sake of continuity, I think that it would be good if you put bumpers on all those videos. So in other words, you have, let's say, yourself on the beginning of the video and the end of the video saying, hey, this is Charles, you're about to see a video that's going to show you how to create fan pages. Now, here's what's going to happen, and then you kind of go into a little explanation. At the end, come in at the end on your end of the bumper, and you tell people, okay, you've just seen how to create a fan page. This is how this fits into my. I'm going to suggest that you deliver these products the very same way I'm doing it right now, because you need to move quickly, and you need to solve problems, right? And so I don't know of a faster way of being able to do that than creating the product live by webinar. And so people can always come and watch the replay, but the point is not whether or not, they've got a recording or whether or not they've got a video. The point is whether or not you solve the problem. Now, if you're not the webinar type and you don't necessarily like to present, then I think everybody can kind of come up just enough to be able to present some basic information. To be quite honest, I think that if you're solving a problem that people really are going to have, then you can almost overcome your inability to speak. That is my opinion. Right? So if you don't like talking in public, you can overcome that if you're solving a specific problem that you sold the product in order to solve. Okay, so you get done with the webinar. You're going to take that webinar, you're going to edit out the content. So in this particular case, at the beginning, before the recording started, I was fiddling around trying to get the screen to work. None of that stuff should be in your product recording. Right? You should be able to edit out all that stuff. And in some cases, you can do that just by starting the recording at the point at which you're ready to start talking, ending it when you're ready to be done. GoToWebinar is a great platform in order to do that. I think it's $99 for 100 people. And if you're going to have more than 100 people in your course, you're generally getting somebody to come on I'd say a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, more than 100 people. It can be a little difficult. So I would not really worry about whether or not your room is going to be big enough. And if you have to go over that, then you go over that. But I think it's $99 for 100 members. It doesn't really matter which platform you use, just as long as you can reliably come in every week or every period of time and then continue to deliver the content, continue to solve the problem. Now, the buyers of your product are going to form your community, right? Now, you call them whatever you want to. You call them your list, you call them your subscribers. I like to call them the community. And so these are going to be the people that you want to be talking to, right? You got to find out from them what else they need and want for you to solve. Now, don't ask them what product should I create, because that may or may not give you the answer that you really want. You have to figure out what problem they're really having inside of your niche, because you want to take the problem that's most significant to the most people and solve those problems in order. So in other words, whatever is the most pressing problem to the most people in your community, solve that problem. That's your next product. Right now, find out what they'd like to solve. Right? Find out what they'd like to solve. So what you want to do is, even if one person answers, right? Let's say that you put out an email. Let's say you've got 10 people on your list. One person responds, right? With these little short products where you're solving problems, just solve that problem, right? And launch the product on Warrior Plus. I don't care if you only get 2 or 3 sales, and you'll see how that's not even the point, right? So the product snowball kind of works because you continue to build this community of people who have bought your products. More than likely, right? More than likely, if you sell something, you might get maybe a 20 to 30% retention of people if you're solving the problems in your community of people who have already bought your products. Does that make sense? So in other words, here's some people who've already bought your products. And then you're going to go to them, you're going to say, you're going to massage the question a little bit. You're going to ask it in a lot of different ways. You're going to find out what problem they want solved, and you're going to solve that problem with a product, right? You will probably be able to get, if you're good at that, you'll be able to get, I'd say 20 or 30% of the people who have already bought your first product. So let's see, Rogelio, you're asking, can I use the PLR through a membership site or just use the thank you page what comes with the PLR? That's actually a great question. What I would say is that there are a couple ways to look at that. If you're going to use a membership script, you just want to make sure that it's going to be easy for you to be able to whip products out quickly, right? Because if you can't do it quickly, I will tell you from experience that a complicated membership site is the difference between launching a product and not launching it sometimes. You will walk away from your desk and not come back to it if something's complicated for you. Right, and sometimes you even have to sacrifice the fact that your page might be in the open, right? You might say, well, man, my page isn't totally secure, and I'd rather have it locked up. In this particular case, when you're trying to do a product snowball, I'm almost going to say that getting it out, getting it done, getting it launched is more important than locking it up in a complicated system that you can't operate quickly. For the life of me, I can tell you that's true. It is for real. A membership site can someday, every membership site, every membership software has some limitations. It also doesn't do everything you want it to do. I don't care which one you own. I don't care what system you have. There's no membership site that's going to do 100% of what you want done 100% of the time. And so what happens is we want the membership site to do something. It doesn't do it, and then we go hunting. How many of you all have had the experience of trying to hunt down and reading forums to try to figure out how a membership script works? Right. And so sometimes if you've ever had that experience before, that'll keep you from launching sometimes. And so you think, well, I didn't get this launched because I didn't get it locked up. And then what happens is 2 or 3 weeks later, I promise you, you'll look back and you'll say, maybe I should have just launched it anyway, right? And so, yeah. So find out what they want to solve. Just continue to create new products solving problems. Continue to create new. The product snowball means that you're launching these products based on what your community tells you. And every time you launch a new product, your community grows. So in other words, you're going to get new buyers every time you go and you launch product. Now again, you're going to be able to, you might be able to get some affiliates even if you don't know anybody, right? You're going to get new buyers. And I can't promise that naturally. I can't promise you're going to get new buyers, and I don't want to go on recording promising you're going to get new buyers if you do what I tell you to do. But generally, you can get a new buyer you can get new buyers if you continually solving real problems that you know are in the market, that you are going to the marketplace with a product that specifically addresses that problem. Right now, when you get a little bitty community, right, start promoting relevant affiliates. So in other words, don't go promoting everybody. Find the affiliates in your particular niche that you want to promote their products or services, right? In general, right? I don't know how faithful I am to this. I really try hard to find people who have business PLR. Somebody approached me about promoting a software program that had reseller rights. And in the past, I've done that kind of thing. I chose not to do that because I'm really trying to not get outside of what I feel like my expertise is, right? And even if I give up not necessarily making the commission on that, I don't particularly care about that. I want people who are going to be relevant to what I'm trying to do in my own business, and you need to do the same thing, right? You would say you are building a brand as an HTML specialist, right? Then don't listen. You should not be promoting WordPress stuff, right? You should not be talking about WordPress. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you won't make sales. I'm saying that if you are focusing on solving the problems of people who have HTML, focus on that, right? Don't go finding people who have products that talk about WordPress. Or even PLR. Let's say well, here's a guy with a PLR program. So what, right? So what if they come and ask you? So what if this is your friend? So what, right? The point is, are you serving your community? And you can serve your community better when they know what to expect from you, right? And ultimately, I honestly think you will make more money that way. Now, again, I know that I'm counter to other people when I come to that, but I honestly believe that in the long run, you'll make more cash by giving people an expectation. Well, you know what? I know if I open Charles' email, it's going to be talking about this one thing. And I know if I open up this guy's email, I know he's going to be talking about this one thing. You need to be the man or the woman that talks about, I don't know, whatever it is, right? And if I know that every time I open up your email, I know what to expect, then I'm not going to be offended when you do an affiliate promotion. Right now, so promote relevant affiliates. Start developing relationships with those affiliates, right? Develop relationships with them. That might mean, finding, going to these conferences where they're going to be. It might mean talking to them on social media. Now, I'm not the best at that, so I can't say that I do. I'm great at that. But develop affiliate relationships, right? Develop them, and however you do it, right? Everybody here has a way they develop affiliate relationships. I'm going to say you do that by any means necessary. So if you need to get to a conference, if you can go to it, I don't know if your niche is going to be there. I don't know if the affiliates in your niche are going to be there. But if they are, then I would say that going there and shaking their hands is going to help you. I would say that going there and shaking their hands, meeting them in person, going to lunch with them, going to dinner with them, then that's going to ultimately help you when you go and you approach them and you say to them, hey, you know what, I've got something really cool that's coming out, and then they know you. Right? I cannot explain what happens to you, but I can tell you from experience that every time I've actually gone to one of these internet marketing conferences with people who are in our market. I'm talking about people who are in the information marketing niche. I'm talking about us, right? I'm talking about conferences where we are. If I go to conferences where we are, there has not been one time where I have not been benefited. And so again, it matters. Yeah, and $200 for a conference and one day off your job could make the difference in your online income. Start asking them for their support. And so that's going to be the hard part. In some cases, if you've already promoted somebody, then it's going to be a little easier to ask them for their support, right? But try to promote them first, right? Try to go out of your way to find an excuse to promote their product first before you go and request their support. Try to meet them in person first. Now, again, that's not always going to be possible. Try to have some conversation with them before you request their support. Now, all this stuff comes before you start looking for affiliates. Right now, I know how important affiliates are. Does everybody see how long this list is? What comes before you start asking affiliates for their stuff, for their support? All these other things come first. And again, getting affiliates on your side, it isn't necessarily. I'd say it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and I don't even know how good I am at it. But I can say it can be done. You don't have to be you don't have to be a member of the club. It's not personal with most people. People want to know, an affiliate wants to know, number one, are they going to serve their community best by sending out your link? Number two, they want to be able to make money, right? Nobody wants to send out your link and then not make money and waste a mailing because your product may not be up to snuff, right? So again, request their support at this point. And then this is not always going to work, but it does work sometimes. And I've done this in the past, and I'd say I've been turned down more often than not than I've asked to do this. You can take your most awesome product, make it a bonus, and then approach an affiliate and say, hey, you know what, can I offer this as a bonus on your download page? Go to the affiliate early enough so that they can put it in their sales copy, right? And that's important because otherwise it doesn't do me any good for me to put you on my download page. But if you come to me early, right, and you say, excuse me, I noticed that you're launching a product on product launches. I have a product launch software, and I'd like to offer it as a bonus. Now, that would be really cool for me to be able to add on my sales page and as part of my sales copy. And then it's a win-win situation. Number one, I have it as a bonus. Number two, you then have it. You get to put your bonus on my download page and collect the leads, right? So put your most awesome bonus on affiliate's download page. It's just really easy, and this is something that, again, it's not going to be the complicated things that we do that will make the most money. It really is these really simple things that we have to take the unglamorous steps, I'll say, right? None of this is sexy, right? None of this is glamorous, and that's the problem with it. We're just not all going to all come to this being able to sell like that, right? We're not all going to be Dan Kennedy sales writers. But with the product snowball, you know what it takes? It takes consistency. It takes the same consistency that you probably have when you get up every morning, you set your alarm for 6 o'clock, and you get up and you go to work. That's the kind of person that can do a product snowball. Product snowball is a kind of person, the kind of person that succeeds with product snowball is the kind of person that can go to work every day, ignore the people that get on their nerve, ignore whatever the traffic, do their job, come back home, go back and do it again. That's the kind of person that excels at this. And so this is really for the normal person. You don't have to be a super salesperson. Internet marketing is basically being prolific. It's not that you have a 7-figure product launch, right? It's that you are consistently delivering value. And what happens is, just like I said the last week, eventually something takes off, right? You keep throwing the jab with your left hand, and at some point you get an opening to throw your right hand. Okay, now, let's see. Damon said you can put bumpers on your PLR videos instead of doing them all correct. Yeah, I think so. And so that's really the kind of thing that you want to pick up something that's got some quality. You want to pick up something that when you walk away, you know that your base, they're going to be getting something that you don't have to go back and watch it over, right? You don't want to get something that you got to watch it over to see what somebody else says. And I would say that's going to be the case with Steve. Okay, so Rogelio's question is, how can I flip a PLR and make it unique that a PLR junkie doesn't recognize it? That's really a great point. Number one, I think, Rogelio, you have to lead with the problem, right? Because in other words, let's say that you're going to lead with solving the problem. So eventually the voice I'm going to hear should be yours. You're not, when you are flipping a PLR, what you're adding unique is you're going to solve a specific problem. What's the problem you could solve? You could solve a problem with somebody who needs to learn how to build an email marketing list. what are you going to lead with? So what's the title of your product? The rest of your product is going to be how to build a list, right? It's not going to be how to learn Aweber. So you're going to say, I'm going to give people the opportunity to learn Aweber, but the problem I'm solving is how to build a list. So you lead with the problem, right? You lead by solving the problem, and the PLR becomes the raw material. I don't necessarily like the term flip. I know it's used. I know we use it a lot as internet marketers. I don't particularly like it because I just think that if you can put a little bit of effort into it and you do the research to figure out what people really want to know, you do the process in the reverse order. So in other words, the point isn't how do I get the PLR to meet the marketplace? It's, okay, I've determined what the marketplace wants. Now, where can I go in my inventory of PLR to find something that will help me to meet the market?